The next thing I want to talk about is we've talked about marketing. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about PR and how important PR is. As you guys know, it's critical to constantly be in people's faces so that they can see you and be everywhere. And so big companies have a very strategic way about making sure that they're out there in front of people. Big name companies like Budweiser or the NFL or Brightway Insurance or Dave & Buster's. All these companies have a very strategic way of doing things like that. So they work with experts in the craft of public relations. And so, actually all those organizations all worked with one particular guy who's this Emmy Award winning PR specialist. And rather than me try to think about what he does, of course, another surprise, the Emmy Award winning PR brains behind some of those brands and a lot of others like HP and Hilton. Please welcome to the stage, been sitting here in the room with you all day, Jason Mudd.
Good afternoon or good morning. It's getting close to lunchtime. I'm hungry. How's everybody doing? Listen, I came today to be real with you guys. I want to keep it real. It doesn't get more real than Jeff Davis. So why don't we give him a hand for putting this event together. So I didn't get all suited up. I mean, we're at the beach. It's Friday. We live in Florida. The weather's beautiful. So this is how I wanted to come today, and I trust you came as yourself as well. Jeff called me to tell me about this event and invited me to speak. But really, it was his story of his passion, and Shock and Awe talked about what I call principal passion. When you believe in what you're doing, and you're the number one leader at your company when you're the CEO, and you have to have that principal passion. You got to believe in what you do, and that passion is infectious to the people that work with you and the people you work with. And so, to that end, when he told me his story, kind of maybe a little bit, if I could just take some liberties and kind of hit rock bottom and realize he can't keep doing his business the same way. In that moment, he really spoke to me because I was having a tough day and a tough week, and I said, you know what, I need to hear more about this. And just to be real with you guys, in my business, there's ebbs and flows. There's periods where business is unbelievable, which fortunately has been what's happened in the last few months. But when he first reached out to me, I was kind of staring at a problem in the face and I couldn't figure it out, And his call was just a reminder that you have those moments, you have those ups and downs, those highs and those lows. There's days where, I'd trade my situation in for almost anything. There's other situations where I wouldn't trade it in for anything, So it just depends on where you are. But I think it's great we're coming together today to plan the attack. And, Jeff's story spoke to me, and I hope it spoke to you as well. How about Amazon on 60 Minutes? Right. Who didn't hear about this? Or at least raise your hand if you heard about it, right? Okay, mostly everybody. Let me tell you what our research shows. Our research, okay? 2,700 articles were written about that 60-minute story, okay? And so I think ultimately what you have to do is identify who are your dream customers and go after them and learn the art of saying no, right? I've won more business by saying no than I have by saying yes. And one of the pioneers of the advertising agency business is David Ogilvy. And David, just a quick story, he owned Ogilvy and Mather, which is a huge advertising agency. And he got a big package in the mail from some Acme Industries company. And it was like this thick, and it was an RFP. And they're asking all these questions, why should we pick your company? Give us your company financials and all this information. So I guess back then they sent, telegrams. And so David Ogilvy sent a telegram that basically said, who is Acme Industries and why would we even want to have your business? Sincerely, one of the world's largest advertising agencies. Well, what happened is he got a telegram back and it said, Mr. Ogilvy, that's the type of feedback and counsel that we need. You're hired. Okay? Think about how much time he saved, okay, by just cutting to the chase. The question was, what will it take to hire your company? Okay? I can give you a similar story of where we were asked to prepare this very lengthy proposal. and it was asking for a lot of what we call in the business spec work, which means speculative work. Do the work ahead of time, and if we like it, then we'll pay you for it. So we sent them a letter and we said, with all respect, we don't do spec work, number one. Number two, what you're asking for requires a ton of input from stakeholders, which we don't have. So the way we'll make money on this project is to do the work ahead of time, get hired, and then try to convince the stakeholders that we've already done the work right, okay? So we got a letter saying you're hired, and we thought we'd just be disqualified by not following the rules and not filling out the thick piece of paper they sent. Well, I go over to their office, and on the table, a table like this, are just stacks of proposals that other companies did. We sent a 2-page letter. These other companies literally did a brochure and a website and logos and all this other stuff. All the work was already on the table. And so I said, wow, this is a lot of stuff. I said, we don't want to see that yet because we don't want to taint our views. But when we get to the right stage, we might look at some of these ideas and see which ones are a good fit. And they said, sure, So that was the easiest piece of business I've ever won, So I think one of the things I want to talk to is outsmarting your competition. But before I do that, I want to talk about, once you know your ideal dream clients, I want you to delight and impress them, not just satisfy them, okay? Delight and impress them. And I think if that's your focus, that's your mantra, I think you'll be incredibly successful. So let's talk.